Jimmy Bach, and this is History with Jimmy, along with my producer Chandler Holmes. And this is probably the last episode. This is episode 32 that we're going to be doing this year, and we will continue next year. And we thank you all for watching and clicking the like and subscribe button. It's very important that we get people to watch these episodes so we can teach the younger generation, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. And we have been able to come across some very rare posters, and these are from World War I. Not only that, but it's from the 109th Infantry there, and we have so much information. We have books with pictures of who served. We have a book that has local names of people that served. And at the very end, we got a very surprising poster. And so we may need your help with this particular poster. So first one we're going to talk about is I got these two posters here from a gentleman, and they were in an attic. And this is a soldier's records, and his name was Benny Podak. I believe I'm pronouncing it correctly. And he served in World War I. And these are very rare. They're very good. This is original wooden frames that are on them. They came out of an attic, this gentleman told me. And then the second one is an honor roll of the pictures of the service that they did here and the list of names. And this was from Georgia. Apparently this is where they were trained at and stuff. So these two were together. I'm sure this gentleman named Benny must have served at that point. I believe his name is on that particular list. So as we look at those posters, as my producer will zoom in on the posters there so you can see them. And like I said, this is Benny's poster. It says Soldier's Record, and then that's an honor roll of soldiers there. But there were a lot of soldiers, and many of them local, that served in the 109th. And the 109th, this is the book that I was telling you about, that we have, has a lot of pictures and names, and some of them are local people. So we'll set that down, and if you come to the museum, you're going to be able to see them. So I'm going to read to you another book. This was Cheryl's father's book, and she found it and gave it to us. And so I'm going to read the introduction of the 109th Field Artillery, because they started from the Revolutionary War till World War I and beyond. So they were very important to this area, and a lot of local people were enrolled here and served in the 109th. And this was done by William H., and I'm going to spell his last name, Z-I-E-R-D-T. So, Zidar. So that may or may not be correct. I apologize if I did that, so that's why I spelled it. So here's what he said. As the story of citizen soldiery is the story of the people who supported it, so the story of the 109th Field Artillery is the story of Wyoming Valley. There are foolish folks who say that we will have no more wars, and they would abolish such regiments as this, to hasten that desirable time. They surely have not read history understandingly, and you could say that today with a lot of folks about that. The regiment, with its 150 years of service, looks at its past and manfully maintains its stout of heart and sound of limb against any emergency that may arise. It will prefer peace, but it is bidden to go forth. It will again do battle for the principles and protection of the home people. Patient with criticism of shallow thinkers, it is truly honest and faithfully to live up to its motto, En Avant. So in 1778, there was war in our own Happy Valley, and women and old men were slain. Children were carried off into captivity. Since then, this regiment has gone to war 5 times. Verily, it is composed of men who desire peace, for it has fought for more than 10 years of its existence to assure peace to its home people. I belonged to this regiment for 20 years. I have known it in work and play, in other states and in foreign lands. I led it in battle. I know the soul and the spirit of it, and assembling these details of its history has been a work of love undertaken that those who follow may strive to maintain it as it has been in the past, an efficient fighting organization for outlawing war and maintaining peace. That was what the 109th is about. So, as we talk about the 109th, as I said, this particular book that we have goes back to the Revolutionary War, to the Indian Wars, to the Spanish-American War, that we found Pete Groover, who was buried up at the Pine Hill Cemetery. His son had the G&W lunchroom on Union Street, and we have his mustard papers. He's in this book, along with a lot of other people. And so finding local names is great for this museum because there's a lot of people still living that didn't realize they had ancestors maybe that fought in the war, as in this last poster that I'm going to talk about. So today I'm going to talk about this last poster that we just got, and we were really thrilled to be able to get this. Cheryl paid up to get this particular poster, and this one is the 109th Regiment, U.S. Infantry, and what's great about it was we saw that there were names here, Siegfrieds. Well, I know Byron Siegfried, and of course Byron was in the story about a famous baseball player here in Shickshinny, Carl Zawadzki. So as soon as I saw the Siegfried's name, I thought, wow, there's got to be local people here that have served and their family are still around. So I immediately, when I got this poster, it took a while. It's in a very fancy frame. The poster itself is not in the best condition, but it is great behind the glass and stuff. And one of the things you can tell about, as I was telling my producer Chandler, you can tell when glass is old, there's a bubble in this glass. So that usually indicates it's pretty old glass. So we knew that this was an original poster. Cheryl had to pay up quite a bit to get this poster, but it was definitely worth the money. Because also, the Welches, who are in Shickshinny Valley, as well as the Siegfriedses, they have relation that's on this particular poster. And I'm sure that there's other local people that have people's names or family members that served and his names are on here. So I encourage you to come to the museum. You can see all three posters, and you can see if the names of some of your family members are on this and it served in the 109th. And they said the 109th was a very large military presence, and having served from all the different wars and stuff that I told you about, and there's a lot of history here. You can come, you can look in the book to see if there's other names of your family members there and stuff. But like I said, this had a lot of names that were recognizable to me that possibly family members may still be around that would recognize their family. And you can see this one here had different flags of different countries that were involved in World War I. And of course, World War I was supposed to be the war to end all wars, and we all know that didn't happen. The other thing is they had mustard gas back then, and that was something that got outlawed after World War I. And in the original book that first one that I showed you, it told about people's names in there, and it said that they had been gassed, or it said they had SCD, which has something to do with balance and hearing, and I would imagine because of the guns that were shut off and stuff, that had something to do with it. So some of them were discharged because of that. Some were shown missing in action. Some were killed in action, like Jesse Thomas, who is the American Legion on 239 is named after him. We have a picture of him on the wall. Also, we were able to find Beach Lutz, who I told you in one of the stories, the episodes that we did about Beach Lutz being there and Jesse Thomas dying in the arms of Beach Lutz, who was also in Shickshinny and is also in this particular book. But what's rarely unique about this poster, on the back of posters, a lot of times we get them, especially when they're very old, they have a paper-like product on the back of there. And one of the things that Bonnie at the upstairs gallery, when we would take things there, said you have to take those out because they absorb moisture and eventually it will deteriorate the poster itself. So I had one of my friends come down and we were able to take the back off of this and put it in there, and then we tape it in there. But what's unique about this one is when we took it off, we looked and here was a name, Mrs. Hazel Hack, RFD number 1, 1916, Bloomsburg. So we tried to figure out, there isn't that particular name on here, but because there were so many divisions in the 109th, maybe she had relation, maybe it was a brother, which wouldn't have the same name since apparently she was married. So, but maybe somebody can come forward and help us find the family of Mrs. Mary Hack if they're still in the area. But what was really amazing about this particular one was once I took off the back here, I had put it in the garbage. And Demi left, and I was getting ready to throw everything away. And here, when I took the back off and I laid it on top of the garbage can, I went there and I picked it up and I turned it over, and guess what? Here was a picture of a woman, and this is a very, very old picture. We had to scotch tape it because it was sort of falling apart. But here's the mystery. Is this Hazel Hack? And this is her picture. I mean, this is very old. It's like one of the charcoal type ones that they would do going way back then. So I'm asking, hoping that the Press Enterprise, because they're from Bloomsburg, maybe would do a story about this and maybe help us run down the family of Hazel Hack, and if there's somebody still living in the family that maybe would want this particular picture. So this is a great find for us. We're always, we're like the pickers and the pawn stars. We never know what's coming through the door, and there's always a story with it. And that is the case of this particular poster and this particular picture of this woman. Who is this woman that was on the back of this World War I poster? So we are going to work on that, but like I said, I would like to invite everybody to come to the museum. I only do it by appointment. My cell phone number is 570-905-7519. You can call me for an appointment to set up so that you can come. I only do it by appointment because it takes about a good hour and a half to up to 2 hours. I've had some people here for 3 hours to do a tour because there's so much stuff that we have and people have asked questions about this and that. And so this is how we're able to answer this when we do our research, when we do these particular episodes. So as we close out this year, Chandler and I want to thank you very much for watching our episodes. We want to tell you have a happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's. As I said, we will be doing more of these next year. But more importantly, it's important to remember the people that served this country and many who died and never came back, to be thankful that we have people that were willing to step up and stand up for our country and protect us and be able to do things like this, to be able to walk down the street, to be able to go to a dance or there. There's many countries where you could not do that. We are fortunate that we have people that continue to serve and help protect us today. So thank God for that we do have people like this, and we want to continue to remember our veterans every day of the year, and not just on Memorial Day or on Veterans Day. Every day of the year, the veterans who have served this country, and we have stories about quite a few of them anyway. So thank you again for watching. This is Jimmy Bach along with producer Chandler Holmes signing off on episode 32. Thank you again for watching.